Hello everyone and a massive welcome or welcome back to Fallout Play Build Collect. What a week it's been to be a Fallout fan. We get almost no news at all for this show for over a year and then all of a sudden the news is flying out. First of all, the Vanity Fair article. If you haven't seen those pictures, I've done a deep dive into them. I'll leave a link to that here. But here we have the full trailer. So there is so much information in this trailer. Rather than me try and do a full breakdown in one go, it's going to be an incredibly long video. So what I'm probably going to do is break this up into little chunks based on the characters and the factions or whatever. Planning on maybe doing those in the new year, but this is your channel as well, guys. If you want to see me get those out before Christmas, you want to see them urgently, let me know and I'll work on it for you. So let's get to the trailer. Is it hot or is it not? One way to find out. Let's watch. So opening shot here is of the vault corridor. Vault 33 we can see again, and this is quite heavily weathered. There's a lot of rust in here on the sides. A lot of the paint's flaking off. We have flickering light. Doesn't look like the vault's in tremendous condition. Next shot here we can see Lucy. We now know she's heading out into the wasteland. I think the character on the right here next to her is a little brother. The previous article said that her brother was an inquisitive young man. That could well be her brother. Next we had the iconic shot of the vault opening, the big bright lights. It's obviously a staple of almost all of the games. Now we see Lucy heading out. We can see again this guy lying on the floor. Presume she's knocked him out, and the three characters behind her. Again, one of them I think is her little brother. Then we get this terrific reaction shot of her outside. You can see the outside is a devastating landscape. Bones all over the place. Maybe these are people who've tried to get into the vault over the years. Maybe they were original people trying to get inside. We can see the little vials on her belt there as well, I pointed out in my previous video. Then we come to this great shot. This is lovely. Like, this to me is Fallout. This says Fallout 3 to me. We can see this is obviously originally some kind of seaside town with a Ferris wheel. Some of the other buildings don't look quite right to me. It looks like there's some concrete walls in there. I don't know whether maybe this is where the vault exit is. Overall, I must say it's fantastic lighting. Then we get this next shot again. I think it's Lucy walking through this rubble. Can't place exactly where this is. The buildings don't look familiar at all. I think we've got something that looks like two bodies there over on the right. Now we get what is a really great shot. It's just a red roach crawling through this window, but this absolutely screams New Vegas to me. You've got this desert western type of setting with a red roach coming through the windows. If you've ever seen, there's a fan-made film, I think it's called Red Star. This gave me vibes from that. And they've done a tremendous job on that. I highly recommend people go and watch that if you haven't seen it. This is a great little moment. I love this. You can see Lucy goes for a gun as a tumbleweed comes across the front of her. You can see how skittish she is here. I think that's a great little moment. Shows what a massive fish out of water she is. Acclaimed video game creator Todd Howard. Never heard of him. Little bit of director's indulgence, this one, with a big beauty shot. This is something Jonathan Nolan's obviously putting in here, and it's the sort of thing his brother would do, let's be honest. Real Mad Max vibe I get with this one. Next up we get Michael Emerson. Some of you guys will know him from Lost. You might know him from Person of Interest, another Jonathan Nolan project. He's great. We get some great dialogue here. There's a lot to get into with this dialogue. This is where we're talking about Lucy gets a rude awakening about how harsh this world is. This is one of the reasons I think this show isn't going to be made for modern audiences. I think they're kind of trying to send that message here. This character is called Dr. Wilzig. I wonder if he's a past vault dweller and he's left the vault perhaps. Anyway, I'll get into that in future videos. It's always great to see Michael Emerson. He's a great actor. Nice little section here with a dog tearing a red roach apart and seeing Lucy's reaction to it. Gives you that contrast that Fallout should have between darkness and humour. Next up we have the same shot that we saw before in the leaked trailer of these vertibirds. It now looks like they're actually taking off rather than landing. If I freeze this here, you can just about make out the Brotherhood logo on the tower. We can see they're at some kind of airfield here, and judging by the structures in the background, I'm not sure. Anybody who knows aviation, let me know, but I'm not sure whether they're silos or whether they're underground hangars. Next up we have a shot of Maximus, and you can see his Brotherhood logo there. We've been told that he's a scribe and he's following along with this knight, and this is where the tone of the trailer changes as they change the music. Just a little bit odd. I think the T60 power armor looks great. I mentioned that before. It's one interesting point here. I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone in power armor sitting down like this before in any of the games. I can't think of one off the top of my head. You guys, if you can think of anything where you've seen someone in power armor sitting down, let me know. There's a dog with some meat. Here's this shot that's become iconic now of these 5 power armoured Brotherhood troops walking through this steam descending. There's also sparks hitting the floor. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Originally I thought it was just when they were landing in the vertibirds, but I'm not sure if this is from somewhere else now. Now this is a very, very strange thing to include. It was very, very brief when you play this at full speed. A jukebox gets blood splattered, but you can see there's farm crops either side of it and what looks like a big silo in the background and a sky. So is this a background in the vault where they come to try and make them feel like they're outside, like almost like a holodeck type of thing? Not really sure. In my previous videos I talked about the vault interiors and we talked about the fact there are actually 2 vaults definitely going to be featured. This is Vault 33 that we know Lucy comes out of. Now we know the other vault is going to be Vault 32. And it's that one that looked like it had the farm crops in it. Yet we clearly see that here. We can see a windmill on the right. We can see the crops. We can see the barn building on the left. But of course we can clearly see here everybody's having what looks like a riot. They all look crazed. Maybe they're all on drugs. Something's gone crazy in this vault. There's a lot of vault information that seems to be contradictory. But again, I'll get into that in another video, I think. Next up, we see this shot again of Lucy arriving at the container town that we now know is called Philly. And once again, we see the Red Skull, the Ghoul, played by Walton Goggins. If you want to know my opinions on this Ghoul makeup, then see my previous video. This is Lucy arriving at what looks like some kind of semi-ruined homestead. Very, very Fallout. Question here is, did she drive up in that car or not? Next up, we see the Ghoul shooting up this junk town. Another section straight out of the previous leak trailer. This time we see a bit more where he shoots this guy here and he looks like he's got some kind of interesting pipe rifle. And we get what is another really strange shot that doesn't really fit in with what we've seen so far. This is clearly an overseer's office. And tell that by we can see it's the atrium outside with the round window there. So we know it's the overseer's office and we've got a Cyclops drinking coffee. This raises so many questions. We know her daddy's meant to be played by Carl McLaughlin. He's meant to be the overseer. Is she still in 33? Is this when she goes to 32? We'll have to unpack this in another video. Next we see this rotary cannon turret. Again, very similar to what we see in the games, very similar design. A little bit of humour with a please remain calm sign below it, and it seems to be firing at this doctor and some kind of a dog. I really like this next shot because we've got Mr. Handy, and you know I love Mr. Handys. But he's pushing this gurney with what looks to be... Is that Lucy on the gurney maybe? Now, given this is an indoor location that's partly ruined with this advert in the background, I'm wondering if this is the train station that we saw previously in some of the leaked footage. Again, go back, check out my previous videos where we look at that train station. Again, another confusing scene. This is our look at Carl McLaughlin. We know he's Hank, the overseer. If he's the overseer, why are they behind the glass? It looked like when she was leaving, it was all quite calm. This looks like it's a really emotional, important scene, so it doesn't really fit the narrative we've got so far. Again, we'll have to unpack this in a future video. Now we're back to Maximus. We can see he's in some kind of battle. And this is the first really good look we get at this over jacket he's wearing with the webbing. It's not something we've seen in the games before. We can see he's got a Brotherhood logo there on the right arm, and he's got a Brotherhood pin and perhaps some rank insignia on his collar there. A couple of interesting points here. Obviously, one, we've got the knight on the ground. Again, we can see the assault rifle in his hands. And the character on the right, we can see another knight, and we can see the drum magazine, so another assault rifle. So this is the third time we've seen knights now with assault rifles. I'm wondering if Maximus has got a 10mm, maybe. And I think we can see a vertibird here in the background. Question is, who's firing at the Brotherhood? Someone either very stupid or very brave, I'd guess. Now we get another really interesting shot. Now, this looks like the location we saw in the Vanity Fair picture. Again, it's in the previous video, go check that one out, where Maximus is standing with his knight. But now we see the knight on the floor getting mauled by a Yao Guai. The Yao Guai I think looks fantastic. Guys, let me know what you think of this, but I think the Yao Guai looks amazing. Strange little shot of someone running away in the desert, carrying what looks like some kind of metal briefcase. No idea what this is. Close up of this creature, we seem to be in an aquatic location. We can see some water around. I'm not sure if this is anywhere we've seen before. It might be a new location. This creature seems to ring a bell to me, but I couldn't place it. I'm sure one of you guys will know what this is and let us all know in the comments. Next up, we have a girl in a vault suit with a fork in her eye, shooting what looks to be a Sten gun with a lot of crops behind her. I don't even know where to begin unpacking that, but it's a cool scene nonetheless. This shot of the new brother of the airship pretty much matches what we saw in the still in the previous video. I won't add anything to it. Again, go back and watch that one if you want to know what I think about this. It's not the Pridwin, it's a new ship called the Casvenon. I'll go into the name in the previous video. Really difficult to tell whether this is arriving or leaving. Either way, it's a cool shot, but I'd like to have seen a bit more of this in the trailer. Now we come over to the Walter Goggins character. At this point, this is pre-bombs dropping. In fact, we're literally seeing the bombs drop. This character's called Cooper Howard at this point. We're going to be seeing flashbacks. Again, I mentioned that in the previous video. Interesting thing is he's dressed as a cowboy and he's on a horse. Maybe that's where we get the theme of him being this Rough Rider bounty hunter in the future. And we can see he's got this young girl also in a Western costume. This makes me wonder if the character, he plays a cowboy, he's an actor, maybe he's in some sort of live stage show. And we can see here he's trying to ride his horse away from the destruction of what is Los Angeles. And people have said you can recognise some of the buildings in the background. This is definitely Los Angeles. And we can see it here getting hit with multiple nukes. So there we go, that's the end of the trailer. What did you guys think of this? Overall, I really liked it. I thought there was a lot of surprising things in there. I think they got the tone right. There's little bits of the humour. There's a few bits of darkness in there. I really like where they're going with it. It looks like they've got the sense of the tone and the theme of Fallout really well. There's some story bits in there that I'm all over the place with at the moment. We're going to have to really unpack that in the future. Where do you guys want me to go from here with this? If you want to see more videos, like I was saying, do you want me to get them out before Christmas? You wait till the new year, you're not really bothered. Let me know one way or another. It's your channel too. If you're still with me, don't forget to smash that like button on the way out. I really appreciate it. It helps us out. And if you didn't know, I'm there over on X, and I'm posting quite a bit at the moment over on there, some different stuff than I'm doing here. So make sure you check that out if you're on X. All the links are in the usual places. And of course, I have to thank this month's supporters. Whether it's just a one-off or a regular contribution, you can help the channel now over on Patreon and buy me a coffee. The links are in the description, and every penny goes to making new content. Now, if you're still watching, you'll definitely like some of my other content. Here's my suggestions of what to watch next. Don't forget to smash the like button before you go, and I hope to see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.